Hey there, this is Melissa Manderson coming to you from Doggone Out and About. I wanted to talk today about some grooming. So the first thing is we have our lovely Shiloh, who's just been in a mood today, so excuse his whining. So this is actually our garage where we hold all of his grooming equipment, and this is a grooming table that I was able to get off of Amazon. It really just helps because I do obviously have a bigger dog, and so instead of having to lean over and put all that pressure on my back, I have him come up here and it's all right where I need it, and it's all ergonomically sound. So the first thing that I always suggest for all dog owners to have is good brushes. So my number one go-to is always going to be the Furminator. It does a great job of getting into that undercoat and getting rid of all of that fur that they tend to shed around the house, and it decreases that. But it also has this handy dandy button at the top that you push, and it has a bar that pushes down, and so you're not sitting here trying to pick all the fur out of the bristles, because we all know that is a pain in the tuchus. And these also come in different sizes. This is one of their larger ones. As we all know, I do have a larger dog. The larger the width, the easier it is, and the less amount of time that I have to spend brushing this troublemaker down. Another type of brush that I have found really works is one that has an undercoat rake, which is basically, it's like metal hooks, and it does really good when they have thicker fur. So Shiloh on his back has very thin fur, but right around the nape of his neck, he has what I like to call his lion's mane, where it's a lot thicker and the fur is a lot longer. And so I use the undercoat rake there to help get it out, get all the fur out, and get it nice and clean and slow down his shedding. The next thing, dental health, which you can tell he loves. So just like with people, dental health is very important for dogs too. You can brush a dog's teeth twice a day if you really feel so inclined. I personally don't have the time or the patience or the attention span to do that, so I don't. But when I do have one of his grooming sessions, I do brush his teeth. I've always used the Arm & Hammer tartar control. I've never had a problem with it. It does really help fight the tartar in their teeth. So especially if you look on their back canines, the tartar is where it starts to look all brown and sometimes can go all the way to black. But if you start regularly brushing their teeth, it's not a problem. It's glorious, and their breath doesn't smell quite so horrid. I specify quite because it depends on what they choose to eat or you choose to give them. Most of the time, what they choose to put in their mouths themselves. So the next big thing is the Dremel drill. They have a special one that has a paw picture on it, and it's specifically, yeah, you know what this is. Don't look at it. They have a special one that is meant specifically for grinding dog's nails, and it comes. So the Dremel does have the capability for you to replace the batteries if, as time goes on, the batteries stop holding a charge, which is common with any sort of rechargeable battery. And they also sell new heads so that you can replace the sandpaper on this spinning head as it starts to wear out. But this is probably the easiest way and the safest way to do your dog's nails. Now, with that being said, there has to be a learning period with this lovely Dremel, because it does make a noise, as anything. And as you can see, he hears it and knows. He's curious, but you can see by his body language with his ears that he is not relaxed per se when it's turned on. Now, that's something that we are working on, and it's something that takes a while for him to get used to. But he's already come strides and strides ahead, because it used to be you turn it on and he would go and run. We'll do a different video about how to get them used to the Dremel and other options that you have if you don't feel like fighting them with the Dremel. There are also nail scissors that you can go and cut their nails back. I don't recommend those as much just because the majority of dogs' claws tend to be black, such as Shiloh's, which makes it that much harder to see where the quick is, and that can be dangerous. So the quick is a blood vessel that runs in their nails. Can I have a call? Thank you. So it runs in their nails, and if you clip it, it can be a pain in the tuchus to get it to stop bleeding, and it's very painful for them, so it will set them back and allowing you to not only mess with their feet, but to trim their nails. So I tend to always suggest to stay away from the nail clippers so that you don't have that problem. And like I said, because most dogs' nails are black instead of white, you can't quite see where that quick is. If you're lucky enough and your dog has white nails, or even your cat has white nails, you tend to see a little pink to reddish line in their nail towards the bottom. That's called their quick. And last but not least, I keep rubbing alcohol underneath to clean out his ears, because as you know, rubbing alcohol will evaporate. And it was actually suggested to me by our vet for our last dog who had chronic ear infections. Most dogs in general, they need to have their ears cleaned out, because whether their ears are straight up or if they're floppy, it causes different environments that will, of course, encourage things like yeast to grow. So in order to help prevent a painful ear infection, you can clear them out with some isopropyl alcohol. And I just put it on a Q-tip, dip it in, clean out the inside of their ear, and throw it away. And most of the time with Shiloh, we've gotten lucky that it comes out pretty clean. Every once in a while, there's a little speck of dirt. Nothing's gonna be perfect. But with our old dog, you could tell they had an ear infection because their ears don't smell good. They kind of smell fishy. And that whenever you put this white Q-tip into their ear with the rubbing alcohol, it comes out with all sorts of yellow, brownish gunk. And it just takes forever to get all that gunk out. That's a good sign that you possibly have an ear infection going, and that you should go visit your vet for possible antibiotic drops to put in their ears. That is our grooming session tour. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know, and I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you.